Yeah, hello everybody. See, we are entering into fourth unit. So before fourth unit, we have already studied about first, second, third units. In first, second, third units, we have discussed about the electrostatics and magnetostatics. So electrostatics and magnetostatics. So the study of this electrostatics and magnetostatics is under time invariant fields. Time invariance fields, and whereas your fourth unit is about time varying fields. So before that we have to understand the difference between time invariant fields and time varying fields. So see, suppose if there is any quantity that may be in your terminology voltage, current, okay. So voltage wave and current wave. So suppose if you take this voltage wave, okay, so if you take voltage wave on x comma y axis, just let us consider it is x and y axis. Suppose, see, on x axis if you take a time quantity or time component, on the y axis if you consider the magnitude of voltage or current, okay. Now suppose, see, if the magnitude of voltage or current wave does not vary with respect to time, if it does not vary with respect to time, such a quantities are called as time invariant quantities or time invariant fields. Time invariant fields. Suppose, see, if it is a current component, this type of quantity is called as time invariant fields. Okay. Now see, time varying fields. Suppose in the same x comma y axis, on x axis if you take a time component, and on the y axis if you take the magnitude, okay. Suppose, see, if the magnitude of voltage or current waves varying with respect to time, such a quantities are called as time varying quantities. Okay. Now see, in the first and second units and third unit, we have discussed about the electric charges and magnetic charges. See, okay, in unit 1 we have a static electric field. So what is meant by static electric field? So we already know that the electric field is produces due to the charges that may be positive charge or negative charge. So if the field produces around the charge like this, such a field is called as electric field. And if this charge is stable or static or it not varying with respect to time, such a field is called as static electric field, or this field is also called as a time invariant field. Okay. Now similarly, in the magnetostatics, so if you take a permanent magnet like this, and it is also called as a magnetic charge. So by the properties of the magnetic field lines are completing their path from north to south pole outside the magnet, and inside it completing its path from south to north like this. So, and this field is also not varying with respect to time. So that's why this field is also called as static magnetic field. So in static electrostatics or magnetostatics, we have two types of fields, that is electric field and magnetic field. And see, these two fields are not depending upon each other in the time invariant fields, whereas in time varying fields, electric and magnetic fields are dependent on each other. Okay. So now see, in our fourth unit we are going to discuss about the 4 topics. Only we have 4 topics. So that is about introduction part, which is already discussed, and you have Faraday's law. So under Faraday's law you have statically and dynamically induced EMF and displacement current, Maxwell's equations. So first of all, I would like to discuss about the Faraday's law. So see, under Faraday's law we have Faraday's law. Under this we have again two types of induced EMF: statically induced EMF. So, see, I think all of you know how to induce the statically induced EMF inside the conductor. So to induce an EMF inside the conductor, so there are basic requirements. We need basic requirements. What are the basic requirements to induce EMF inside the conductor? So what is? One is set of conductors, and a magnetic field, and the relative motion between about two. That means set of conductors and magnetic field. So these are the three basic requirements to induce any type of induced EMF inside the conductor. Any type of induced EMF means that may be statically induced EMF or dynamically induced EMF. So as we are discussing about the statically induced EMF, okay. So for the induce the statically induced EMF inside the conductor, the magnetic field, how it will? The magnetic field should be the magnetic field is varying, and set of conductors stationary. So that's why. So if out of these two terms, if there is one term is constant, another should be varying. So that's why EMF will be induced inside the conductor. So in this case, the magnetic field is varying and the conductors are stationary. So that's why the relative motion exists between the set of conductors and magnetic field. So that EMF will be induced. Inside the conductor. So the mathematical expression for the statically induced EMF is given by, according to the Faraday. So E, it is the induced EMF, is minus d psi by dt. So we can also define the statically induced EMF in another way. That is another way of defining the statically induced EMF. Another way, the rate of change of flux linkages is induced EMF. Which type of induced EMF? It is a statically induced EMF. So that is mathematically written as like this: E is equal to minus d psi by dt. Okay. Now see, where psi is equals to number of turns into flux. So for one turn, for n is equal to 1, psi is equal to 1 into 5. So that will become psi is equals to 5. And if you substitute that in the above expression, minus d phi by dt. Okay. Now see, in the field theory, we have a relation between magnetic flux density and area of cross section. If area of cross section is considered as S, okay, there is a relation between phi and b and s, that is surface integration of b bar dot ds bar. Now you just substitute this form: phi is equals to surface integration of b bar dot ds bar value in this expression. So if you consider this is the equation number 1, and if it is equation number 2, substitute, and if it is equation 3, substitute 3 in 2. So phi is equals to, sorry, not phi, is E is equals to minus d by dt of What is phi? Phi is surface integration of b bar dot ds bar. Consider it is equation number 4. Okay. But we know induced EMF or voltage in electrostatics. What is the induced EMF for voltage in electrostatics? It is E is equals to line integration of or circular integration of E bar dot TL bar. So it is equation number 5. Okay. So where E bar is the electric field intensity. Electric field intensity. Okay. So now see, observe equation 4 and equation 5. From 4 and 5 we can write the expression like this. So E bar dot DL bar equals to, and equate equation 5 and equation 2 as these two equations are same, minus d by dt of b bar dot ds bar. Okay, if you find this ordinary differentiation inside the integration, it will become partial differentiation. So minus, surface circular integration of E bar dot DL bar is equal to minus surface. This integration is surface integration of dou B bar by dou T dot ds bar. Okay, now this is the induced EMF, statically induced EMF expression in field theory. Okay, and this equation is called as integral form of, if you please remember, this integration, this expression is called as this expression contains the integral terms, so it is called as integral form of Maxwell's equation. Integral form of Maxwell's equation. And where we derive from this formula, as we are deriving this Maxwell's equation from the Faraday's law, so it is called as integral form of Maxwell's equation derived from Faraday's law. For which type of fields is it? For time invariant fields or time varying fields? For time varying fields. Yes, time varying fields. Let us consider this equation as Roman number 1. Okay. Now, can you tell me the same expression for time invariant fields? This is for time varying fields now, as it is having time component. This equation is called as time varying field. So for time invariant fields, the B bar value is constant. B bar is, so for time invariant fields, TIF, time invariant fields, B bar is constant. So as B bar is constant, okay, as B bar is constant, d by dt of constant becomes, in this expression, d by dt of constant becomes 0. So that's why E bar dot dl bar is equals to 0 ds bar. As the differentiation of constant term is 0, so it will become 0. So what is the integration of 0? It is constant. So under the assumption that the initial value is 0, it will become 0. So E bar dot dl bar, and this equation is called as, let's consider it is 2, and it is called as, it is also an integral form of Maxwell's equation. integral form of Maxwell's equation, and as it is also derived from the Faraday's law, integral form of Maxwell's equation derived from Faraday's law for time invariant fields. It is time invariant fields. Okay, now see, so up to now we have seen that the integral form of Faraday's laws for time varying fields and integral form of Maxwell's equation derived from Faraday's law for time invariant fields. Now we will see the point form of Maxwell's equation. Next one is about the point form of same continuation. For the continuation, point form of, so this is the integral forms. These two equations, Roman letter 1 and 2 are integral forms. Now we are deriving the point form of Maxwell's equation derived from Faraday's law for both time varying and time invariant fields, time varying fields and time invariant fields. Okay, now see from equation 1, from Roman letter 1 equation, what is that equation? That is E bar dot dl bar is equals to minus surface integration of dou b bar by dou t dot ds bar. This is your equation. Okay, now see this is a line integration and it is a surface integration. So to convert integral form of Maxwell's equation into point form, we use Stokes theorem. Okay. Stokes theorem. So from Stokes theorem, line integration can be converted into surface integration. Okay, so from Stokes theorem, line integration can be converted into surface integration. So see, in this equation we have a line integration, the left handed side to the equal symbol. So now I am converting that line integration into surface integration with the help of Stokes theorem. Okay, so from Stokes theorem, so just write the surface integration instead of line integration and use the curl operation. So curl operation is inverted triangle cross E bar into, now with respect to what we are doing the integration, as it is surface integration, now we need to do the integration with respect to surface. So it is ds bar, write the right sided term as it is minus dou b bar by dou t into this bar. For the isotropic materials, for same materials, for isotropic materials, you can cancel the integration on both sides. So that's why it will be changes like this. Del cos E bar is equal to minus dou b bar by dou t. This is the point form of Maxwell's equation derived from Faraday's law for time varying fields. It is for time varying fields, and just consider it is the equation or Roman number 3. Okay, what is this equation? Point form of Maxwell's equation derived from Faraday's law for time varying fields, TVF, time varying fields. Now tell me the equation for time invariant fields, how it will be? For time invariant fields, so B bar is constant. So as B bar is constant, del cross T bar is equals to minus dou B by dou T of constant. So as differentiation of constant is 0, its del cross E bar is also 0. So it is called as point form of Maxwell's equation derived from Faraday's law for time invariant fields, EIF. So this considered is equation number 4. Okay. So up to now we have completed the Maxwell's equations derived from Faraday's law for both time varying and time invariant fields. This is comes under the statically induced EMF. Now I would like to explain about the dynamically induced EMF. Dynamically induced EMF. Dynamically induced EMF. So how this dynamically induced EMF induces inside the conductor? So we already know the basic requirements of to induce induced EMF inside the conductor. What are the basic requirements? So it is already known to you. What is that? Basic requirements to induce EMF inside the conductor are 3. So that is the set of conductors or conductor. Next, magnetic field and relative motion. So to induce dynamically induced EMF inside the conductor, so inside the conductor, or to get dynamically induced EMF, magnetic field should be constant. Okay, now what about the set of set of conductors should be varied. Okay, so now see, to understand this concept, I am just taking a Cartesian coordinate system. So this is my z axis and it is y axis and there is a x axis here. Okay, now assuming that the magnetic field is radially going outwards to the board, it is inside to the board. So this is the magnetic field lines. I am representing the magnetic field lines with cross symbol. So what is mean by cross? It is enter into the board. The magnetic field will be like this. It is enter into the board. Magnetic field will be like this. So B bar is equal to, which is, and it is in the negative x axis direction. Now you just place a conductor like this and imagine that, or assume that this conductor is moving with an velocity, or the charge inside the conductor is moving with an velocity v bar in the direction of y axis. The charge is moving charge. So as it is a conductor, there are number of free electrons available inside the conductor. So just consider that the free charge is moving with a velocity V bar in the y-axis direction and magnetic field is in this direction. So that's why. So what is the force experienced on the charge? As the charge is inside the magnetic field, as the charge is inside the magnetic field and it is moving with a velocity of V bar, that means it is indirectly saying that the current carrying conductor is under the magnetic field. So whenever there is a current carrying conductor, it is under the presence of magnetic field, force is experienced on the charge. So the force on the charge will be determined by using Fleming's left hand rule. So according to Fleming's left hand rule, so if this forefinger indicates the magnetic field direction and it is the charge direction and the force is in upward direction. Force is in upward direction. This is the force. And magnetic field is, it will be like this. Magnetic field will be in the negative x-axis direction and the induced EMF or the charge motion is in this direction. Okay, so now the force experienced on the charge will be written in terms of velocity of the charge and the magnetic field will be like this, V bar cross B bar. So now from this force expression we can write the expression for electric field intensity. This electric field intensity is called as motional electric field intensity and it is the ratio of F bar by Q. So it is the force expression will be like this. F bar is equal to Q times of magnitude of charges Q1. So if Q V bar plus B bar. Okay. So and the motionally electric field intensity EM bar is equal to F bar by Q, which is also equals to V bar plus B bar. Okay, we already know the expression for electric field intensity or voltage. It is EM bar dot DL bar for integration, which is equals to V bar plus B bar DL bar. This is the expression for dynamically induced EMF, or this induced EMF is also called as generator EMF. Is also called as generator EMF or dynamically induced EMF. Okay. So we'll solve one problem based on this topic. So up to now we have completed the statically induced EMF and dynamically induced EMF. Statically induced EMF is also called as a transformer EMF. Dynamically induced EMF is also called as a generator EMF. Okay. Yes, the problem will be like this. Conductor see, the problem will be like this. A conductor 1 centimeter in length, conductor 1 centimeter in length is parallel to z-axis, and rotates at a radius of rotates at a radius of 25 centimeters, radius of 25 centimeters at 1200 rpm. At 1200 rpm, find induced voltage. Find induced voltage comma if the radial field is given by, if the radial field is given by V bar is equals to 0.5 AR per Tesla. Okay, now all of you read the problem once. So conductor, this is the given data, solution, given data. So conductor is having length 1 centimeter, that means length of the conductor, is how much it is? It is L is equals to 1 centimeter. So if you convert centimeters into meters, 1 into 10 to the power of minus 2 or 0.01 meters. Okay, now how it will be? It is parallel to the z-axis. Now just draw a system. It is Cartesian system, x comma y comma z-axis. Now see, conductor 1 centimeter in length is parallel to z-axis. Conductor length is given. The length of the conductor is 1 centimeter and it is parallel to the z-axis. Parallel to the z-axis means that like this. It is the positive z-axis and it is negative z-axis. Okay, your conductor will be like this. It is parallel to the z-axis and rotates at a radius of 25 centimeters. That means the radius of radius means it is the distance between z-axis to the conductor where you place. So this is the location of the conductor and it is having 0.25 meters. 25 centimeters means 0.25 meters and it is moving in this like this. It is moving around the z-axis at a radius of 25 centimeters. That means it is rotating like this. Okay, so now I am drawing here the path of the movement of the conductor, motion of the conductor. So it is moving in which direction? 5 directions. So it is represented by A5. So what is the velocity? We need to calculate the velocity of the conductor here and find the induced voltage if the radial field is given by, what is the radial field? Radial field is having 0.5 magnitude and it is in the AR direction. So as it is in A5 direction, the AR direction will be like this. Radial field. Radial field and what is the meaning of radial field? It is in the direction of radius of the cylinder. The field will be, radial field will be like this. And it is a time invariant. Magnetic field is time invariant. Okay, so how much he is given this? 0.5 AR bar Tesla. Okay, now see, as the magnetic field is stationary, conductor is rotating. Which type of EMF induced inside the conductor? It is dynamically induced EMF. Conductor is waving, magnetic field is stationary. So that's why the EMF induced inside the conductor is dynamically induced EMF or generator EMF. What is the formula for generator EMF? It is the line integration of EM bar dot DL bar. What is EM bar here? EM bar is the motional electrical intensity. What is the formula for motional electrical intensity? This EM bar is equal to V bar plus V bar. V bar value is known value, V bar is unknown value. So we need to calculate the V bar first. So how can you calculate V bar? This is the hint is given to calculate the V bar. Conductor is rotating with the 1200 RPM. Conductor is rotating with the 1200 RPM. It is not the linear velocity, it is the angular velocity. Now we need to convert the angular velocity into linear velocity. Angular velocity into linear velocity. So what is the meaning of this 1200 RPM? 1200 RPM means for 1 minute it will cover, it will complete 1200 revolutions for PM, rotations per minute. The meaning of 1200 RPM is it will take, for 1 minute it will complete the 1200 revolution. 1 minute means how many seconds? For 60 seconds it will complete 1200 revolutions. So for 1 second, how much it is? 1 second, 1 by 60 into 1200, that means 1200 by 60 is equals to what? It is maybe 20. So 20 revolution, that means for 1 second it will take 20 revolutions. So for 1 second, and it covers the distance of 2 pi r, as the radius of the circle is, perimeter of the circle is 2 pi r. So in 1 second it will complete the distance of 2 pi r. Okay, for 1 second. For 1 second it will complete the distance of 2 pi r. So for 20 revolutions, 20 into 2 pi r. So which will become 40 pi r. Is it? So the velocity vector will be like this, as it is moving in the phi direction. So it is 40 pi r into a pi r. Phi 3.14, the radius is 0.25, a pi r. This is the value. .416 is V bar is equal to 31.416 a pi bar. Okay, now we have V bar and V bar. V bar is how much? V bar is, it is from the given data. AR bar is equal to. Okay, now we calculate the EM bar. EM bar is the just cross product between V bar and D bar. What is V bar here? It is 31.416 A5 bar cross V bar is how much? It is 0.5 AR bar. Okay, so what is the magnitude? You can calculate the magnitude. Now A5 bar cross AR bar. How will you do the cross product between A5 bar and AR bar? We already know the unit vectors in cylindrical coordinate system. It is AR bar, A5 bar, AZ bar. Okay, so if you follow the clockwise direction, okay, and here there is a A5 bar and AR bar. These two are in the anti-clockwise direction. So if there is anti-clockwise direction, the remaining component is having negative sign. That is the resultant of A5 bar cross AR bar. Now your answer will be like this. So what is the magnitude of 31.416 into 0.5? It is 15.708. So it is 15.708 means 15.708. Now I have EM bar. So once you get the motional electric field intensity, just to substitute in the voltage formula. What is the voltage formula or induced voltage formula? It is A is equal to line integration of EM bar dot DL bar. So EM bar is known value, that is 708 minus AZ bar dot, what is DL bar? DL is as it is parallel to the Z axis, it is dz into AZ bar. The dot product between AZ bar and AZ bar is same 1. Okay, so it is minus what are the limits of integration? As the conductor is having 1 centimeter in length, it is from 0 to 0.01 and 1 with respect to Z. If you write the magnitude outside of the integration, minus 15.708 into 0.021 into with respect to dz, become minus 15.708. Z limits from 0 to 0.01. After substitute upper and lower limits, you get the answer how much? Minus 157.08 millivolts. This is the answer. Okay, see, up to now we have completed the Faraday's law. Faraday's law, under that statically induced EMF and dynamically induced EMF. So in the next class we are going to discuss about displacement current. Thank you.